So, I'm going to be pretty informal, and I know some of you have some information that you might like to share with. So jump in. This is going to be free form. Our club was chartered in January 16th of 1947. But before that, we had a club here in the 30s, I think the middle 30s. And I think it was about 1939, 1938 when it was disbanded and the charter was sent back to Lions because the members that were there were more interested in development and things on the coast. So they became the Chamber of Commerce. Okay, now I'm not sure if that's the same Chamber of Commerce that's progressed up to this point or not, but that was what the paperwork from International told us. So when we got started in '47, we had a couple of individuals. I think one of the charter members of the club was George Dunn. And anybody that's been in Half Moon Bay a few years might remember the name, but he was the original owner of the Half Moon Bay Review, the newspaper. And George, who was Gil's neighbor, he had a lot of great things. He in his newspaper, he would write articles about we needed better roads on the coast side. We need this breakwater out here. So a lot of the things he did, and the Lions Club I think was kind of a part of it, but he helped develop the coastside to what it is. Another member that started a little bit after that, as a matter of fact, our dad brought him in, was Cy Moyer. He was the first district governor, but he got involved with a drug abuse program. Back in the 50s and 60s, right, pot was the big menace. And so Cy worked with some of the law enforcement. They put together display kits. And then he would go from school to school doing presentations. Got to be where he was doing it for Lions district meetings and that. And he was also asked to go to the international convention a couple of years to be on a panel. So those are a couple of the founders and what they did. So in the 40s, our fundraisers, I was only 3 or 4 years old, so I'm not really sure. But I do know, because I saw pictures, that we used to do a broom sale. And I know that one year our broom sale was really good. I think we netted $80. Okay, but we went and the brooms, I think were provided, or we bought them from Lighthouse to the Blind. And then we'd go around to all the houses, and because everybody used a broom, nobody had vacuum cleaners back then and all that. So that was one of our fundraisers. We also did, I think, some bingo games and probably had a few feeds, spaghetti feed, just this and that kind of thing. In 1959, we worked with, got together with the Catholic Men's Club and formed the first Little League team. And so we've been a sponsor of that ever since. And so we're been involved with the Little League for years and years. Our basic commitment was to provide some funding, and we weren't hands-on, so we didn't have members going out showing the kids how to bat. That was the men's club, because they had Bruno Giusti and some of those folks.
Yeah,
Peabody.
And Peabody, right. So, okay, one of the big events that we used to do at that time was that we'd have an appreciation dinner at the end of the year. We started with just our own Little League team, and we'd get a place and have all the kids come out and all that. Then we opened it up to the whole Little League. I don't know, there may have been 8 or 10 teams. So we opened it up, and we'd take over the IDS Hall, and we invited members of the Giants and the A's, where we had a contact in San Mateo. So for a while, I don't know if you remember the name, Jimmy Davenport and Tom Haller. Those guys were members, honorary members of our club, because they came year after year. And we did that for a while, and after a certain amount of time, it got to be too big of an event, and so we stopped doing that. I think that one point we had, I think in my other notes, 1962, we had 10 members of the Giants. It was the year they won, I think, the pennant. So that was fun. I remember seeing Billy Pierce, I think was a pitcher, some of those guys. Anyway, a lot of big names. Fun fact, at one of these Little League dinners, I was sitting across the table from Bobby Bonds, not Barry's dad. And he was talking about all his spare time, you know, when they're in hotels waiting, they're always watching soap operas. Okay. We also put on a fun night for the kids at the Patio Theater. Anybody remember the Patio Theater?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Okay, so the Patio Theater, if you know where the Gold Works is, the building behind it used to be a theater. And movie theater, right. And so, what was its nickname?
Bond.
Bonds.
Bonds.
One cinema.
Oh, there's another not.
Rebag.
But, so we put on this show. We'd have Santa Claus, we'd put on movies, we had gifts for the kids. We'd go through Sears and they'd sell us a big bag of toys and stuff so we could, you know, put this thing on. And it was nice for a while, as long as we could do it. And I think the fact that the theater kind of got shut down was the end of it. So, in the 60s, there was a famous group started in Half Moon Bay. And it was called the Half Moon Bay Dons. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers the Half Moon Bay Dons, few of you do. The Half Moon Bay Dons, I think Buzzy was a member, right?
Yeah.
And Carl Mate was a member. And so this was a synchronized drill team. These guys dressed up in black and gold uniforms with the hats and all that, and they'd march and they did all this thing, go to all these parades, went all over the place. The Lions helped fund them to get to a parade in Washington, D.C., and then later on, the Dons got TV shots on the Ed Sullivan Show, another name from the past, and you asked for it. So, yeah. So, along with that, what did we do?
They were state champions for a number of years.
Oh yeah, they were state champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were very, very, very good team. And after a while, the leader left and we had some other issues. But then it was reformed by the volunteer fire department. And I'm not sure how the transition went, but they became the Los Caballeros. And they performed again for a number of years. Along with that Christmas theme, in the 70s, we purchased decorations that went from light pole to light pole across Main Street. And we did that up and down Main Street. So we had a big Saturday event, and we went down and hung these things down the street. And they were probably used for 10 years until they were falling apart. But it added a little bit of color to Main Street. In the 60s and 70s, our big fundraiser was a fireworks stand. We were Red Devil guys, and we could sell. And there are a lot of interesting stories there. I'm not going to get into all of them. I'm not going to get into all of them, but I know that at one point, when we went down there for our 3 or 4 hour shift, I think Bobby and Bobby's kids and Steve's kids were playing in the back of the car and all that. The fireworks stand is a 10-day project. So you have, number one, you have to have a place to store this stuff that's fire safe. And then every day you had to go and open up the stand, bring all the goods out, set it up, and just stay there. Sometimes it's cold, and it's a tough job. You didn't want to be the chairman of that committee. So that went on for a while until we had thought better of fireworks and stuff.
One of our future members was a fire chief and said we couldn't do it anymore.
I didn't say that. I didn't
That's
say
why
that.
that
Hey, Bill. That's why he went to the Rotary first.
Yeah, they wouldn't accept me.
And you know what? It was a good thing that we did that, because frankly, that was a lot of work. Okay, so fundraising. We're good at fundraising when we put our minds to it. So some clowns in town decided they wanted to build a Boys and Girls Club. And they said, yeah, we need to raise, I forget how much they said, a couple $1 million and all that. And one of our members came to the club and he said, why don't we do something like a wine tasting or something? Maybe we can raise some money. Well, at that time you could say, well, I'm going to raise a certain amount of money, and geez, that'll get my name on a certain thing. So we said, I don't know, let's try and raise $50,000. And we went out the first year. Help me with this, Steve. How much did we raise the first year?
45,000.
45. So then he came back and said, we did so well, why don't we tell them we're going to try to do 250,000 in 5 years. So we did it for 5 years, and I think we ended up raising
250,000.
250,000. So so if you go down to the Boys and Girls Club, the gym that's there, I don't know if they still have it, but they had a display video showing people that have helped support it and all that. But we were prominently mentioned on that. Okay. So today's fundraising includes the Pumpkin Festival, 4th of July pancakes, poker night, and there might be 1 or 2 little ones in there, but those are our major fundraisers, and we do very well. I've left out things like the wild game feed, where John had us out there raising $40,000-$50,000 a night.
The girls did.
Bud girls, yes. So, I mean, and we've been around, we've done a lot of things, and we need to do more things. So here's where you younger guys, younger people, need to step in and take over. And, you know, look at building these stories into the news stories you tell the next group. Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything you want to add to that?
We missed like the dream machines.
Yeah, a lot of stuff,
Yeah, well, those were, there's a lot of stuff. Smart events. Oh, you know, I could really, I wanna bring something up because our secretary has got this thing on the pedestal there, and she's live recording us, and she needs to have a disclaimer or all of us sign a thing saying we allow her to do that.
I already asked for it.
Since I'm district constitution and bylaws.
I have something I'd like to add. I can go over there if you want. But anyway, I almost didn't do this because this involves Lion Bette Gould, and she's not here tonight. So I'm gonna do this anyway, and I might just repeat it in my installation dinner next year, when I'm president. So, for the first 70 years of Lions, women were banned from membership by Lions International. So in 1987, Lions Club International lifted that ban and allowed women in the club. And you gotta remember, when women joined back then, they didn't join the Lions Club you guys joined. They joined the Man's Club. You know, it was everything you could expect when you get a bunch of guys together unsupervised. A lot of drinking, a lot of swearing, you know, and a lot of off-color jokes. And that was the club that I joined, right? And in the months before that actually happened, you know, we'd go visit other clubs like Burlingame and San Bruno, and guys would stand up and they'd be going, "Oh, this is a bunch of bullshit. You know, if they allow women to join my club, I'm done. I'm out of here." And these were past district governors and future district governors. You know, this was the environment at the time. So they allowed women in the club, and right off the bat, within the first year, Lion Bette Gould joined our club. And I didn't realize this till I found this today, but she joined in 1988. She's one of the first women in Lions International, period, and our club. In 1988, she was our site conservation chairperson, our scholarship chairperson, and our pancake breakfast chairperson. She was secretary in 1992. In 93, 94, and 95, she was third, second, and first vice president. She was president of this club in 1996. In 1997, she was cabinet secretary, treasurer. And you gotta remember, when she joined, nobody in the organization could even imagine a woman is in a district cabinet position or a district governor like we have now. And then she was president of the Peninsula Council of Lions in 1999. That's her first 10 years. I mean, she joined this club and with complete grace. I'm sure, you know, we tried, but I'm sure we offended her and said some things we shouldn't have when she first joined, but you would have never known that, you know. And she, I don't know, she hit the ground running. I mean, she's just this, you know, an amazing Lion, and by any measure. And that's just the first 10 years, and this is since 1988. So I thought, since we're doing history tonight, I'd share that, since that's pretty significant in our club. Yeah.
Wonderful Lion, wonderful lady.
Yeah, yeah. I'll repeat that next year when she's here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so anybody else have anything you want to add first? Thank you, Lion Rich. That was.